Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Talking TVL. I'm your digital host, Breona Winn, and if you don't know what this is our pre-show to the lifestyle show called Tennessee Valley Living, which airs every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Happy Monday, March 3rd. I've got to be honest with you all. I witnessed a robbery last night. I did. It was scary, to say the least. It was sad. And it all happened live on television during the Oscars when Cynthia and Ariana did not win their well-deserved Oscar awards. Let me tell you something. Friday, I went into it. If you go onto our Instagram, Tennessee Valley Living, you'll see everyone's predictions, everyone who all was excited for the Oscars and who they wanted to win. And if you watched my part, I'm all for Wicked. I am a fan of Wicked. I love Wicked down. I promise you I do. But around 2 p.m. on Sunday, I said, something's telling me they're not going to get what they deserve. Something's telling me they're not going to get what they deserve. And they did not. And honestly, I'm going to be honest, I didn't even watch it live. Let me not even lie to you. I watched it on TikTok because I just knew I couldn't take it. I couldn't handle it. I knew I couldn't. I felt it in my gut. How and the ever. I did catch their performance, Ariana and Cynthia, and it was absolutely phenomenal. What do we expect? Okay, these should have been Oscar award-winning women and their beautiful voices, okay? It was 12 out of 10. Absolutely amazing performance. But again, they did not win their Oscar. It's okay. It's fine. Shout out to their costume designer. That he was the first black man to win the costume designer award, or Oscar award. So that was really cool. Cool thing that happened on the Oscars. But other than that, yes, it was a robbery. It was a robbery. I am shooketh to my core. Anyways, that was the weekend. And we have a fun week ahead of us. So we've got Dollywood's 40th anniversary. We have Osteria Luca coming to the kitchen, and we're going to end our week with the Home and Garden Show live right from the VBC. So we have a very fun week ahead of us. But for now, let us talk about today's show, shall we? So some of you may be scrambling to find the best last-minute flight deals, and you're struggling because the prices are skyrocket high. Well, today on the show, we have our friend Jet Lag Hero in studio to tell us all about the hacks that you need to find the best last-minute flight deals. Let me tell you something. I don't know who booked this guest, but I want to thank them, and it was probably our producer, Jocelyn. This is so timely for me. Me and my sister are trying to go see my mom in Arizona with the kids. Baby, I was looking at the prices yesterday, $700 a ticket. I said, this can't be right. This seems like a robbery. Just like Cynthia and Ariana last night, this seems like a robbery as well. I can't even swipe the card on that one. Okay, but hopefully our friend Jet Lag Hero is going to come. Like I said, he's got all of the hacks that you need to find the best last minute flight deals. He also has a website that he's going to share with you. I know you can go on Google to look at your flight deals, but there's another website, which you've got to watch the show at 11 to find out what that website is. But you log in your information from Google that you got. Like, you search it on Google, you go to this website and take your findings from Google, put it in the website, and it gives you the best deals at the time. So that's super cool, and I think this is timely not just for me, but for those of you who are going spring breaking last minute. You're trying to figure out, man, how do I get to Miami and not have to spend $700 for a flight? How do I do that? So make sure you watch the show today at 11 to figure all of that out, okay? And then next up we have Bradford Health Services will be coming in the studio today. So since 1977, Bradford Health has treated nearly 500,000 patients through a wide array of innovative and effective recovery programs. Their expert medical, clinical, and support professionals provide quality care accredited by the Joint Commission with outcomes recognized by leading insurance companies. So, like I said, they'll be on the show today to talk about their recovery efforts, their services, and everything they have to offer, and more. So that's going to be around our 11:30 hour of the show. And then last but not least, our last guest today, Mario Maitland of Maitland Conservatory. He is coming to talk about his Dream X Expo happening tomorrow evening at the Orion Amphitheater. So if you're not familiar with the Dream X, it is an expo designed to introduce high school students to the world of music and the numerous career opportunities available in the modern arts. I think this is so cool. I think that's so cool. Like, if there's any kids that you know who are in the high school level and they're like, man, I love producing, I love DJing, all of these things, but I just don't know how to get started. I think this is going to be the best program that they can be a part of. And I'm pretty sure it's free, but make sure you watch the show at 11 today to find out for sure. But it's super cool effort that he has put together again tomorrow night at the Orion. Watch the show today for more information and details on that. Okay, after the break, we just talked about Mario Maitland, but we're going to get a closer look behind the scenes at the Maitland Conservatory School and all that they have to offer.
I'm Shanika Wright, and on this edition of Sounds of the Valley, we're highlighting a special place and person right here in Huntsville, and we're about to introduce you to him right now.
Sounds of the Valley is sponsored by the Huntsville Symphony Orchestra.
I'm here with Mr. Mario Maitland Jr. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I am doing good, and thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So you are a very well-known man around this city. Your place is well-known, but how many people really know who you are? So can you just kind of tell me like how you fell in love with the music and where did it all stem from?
Absolutely. I mean, to be honest, I love telling the story because it wasn't as cut and concrete in the beginning. My parents bought me a little piano when I was 9 years old. It was a little toy piano that I could bang around on, and they told me I used to bang on that thing all the time to the point where I probably got on their nerves a little bit. But it was really around the 4th grade where my love of music started to come in. At that time, I was a typical boy, wanted to play basketball, wanted to play football, all the sports. I picked out the school I wanted to go to and everything. And this guy came to my class and he was offering after-school violin lessons. And so we started playing the violin, and then my grandmother, when I would go stay with her during the summers, she had a piano there. And so she would always encourage me to kind of get on it. And I would start noticing that there were notes that were on the violin that matched the piano. So I was like, okay, cool, I can do this and do that. So my parents said, but if you're gonna do this, you're gonna do it the right way. So they took me downtown to this School of Music. It was called Andrea Clark School of Music, and I started taking piano lessons. From there, my interest really started growing, so much so that I decided to go to a fine arts school in Augusta, Georgia, called Davidson Fine Arts, where piano and orchestra was a regular class for me every day. So it was that experience between like 4th grade and 5th and 6th grade that really, really grew my love for music and what I do now.
I love that. And for you to grow up with music and then you furthered your career even more so with like higher education.
Absolutely.
And that actually led to Alabama A&M as well.
It did. It led to Alabama A&M.
So tell me what experience you had there and like how did it lead to you basically building the career that you have now?
Absolutely. A&M was perfect. Now, I'm going to be honest. I did not want to come at first because all I saw on the paper was Alabama. And I was like, do I really want to go to Alabama? But I'll be honest, the other thing that made it kind of cool was I heard about the space camps. I was like, I want to go to space camp. But anyway, Dr. Horace Carney from A&M, he used to come to my high school and audition people at our school all the time. So he heard me play. offered me a full scholarship for piano to come to A&M. So glad I came. When I got here, I was really presented with and exposed to just so many diverse forms of music and the arts that it really helped to cultivate who I was. At that time, I was pretty much strictly classical music. That's all I knew how to do. I wanted to be a concert pianist. But you know, being in the South, coming to Alabama, the Bible Belt, you got to learn some gospel, you learn about some R&B, you learn how to do all of these different things, you learn how to play by ear. And so I started doing all those things while I was here at A&M. I also started entering a lot of piano competitions, and a lot of them I won. I can, say that. The biggest one was the Rome Festival International. I got to go to Rome, Italy, debut as a concert pianist, played with the Rome Festival Orchestra, doing all this cool stuff in that spectrum. But then I started thinking, what else can I do with my skill sets? What else is out there? And so while I was at A&M, I started a band called Remedy. Cut an album, and when we cut that album, this is what led to the next step. The studio that we recorded in, another artist was in there recording his album, and he heard the engineer working on ours, and he said, hey, I need a band to go on tour with me. So he heard that, got in touch with me. I became his music director, and from there, it just started growing. I started meeting all these other artists and celebrities, and going on tour, traveling to London, and all these different places, putting shows together. And went from there to, I got my opportunity to produce my first song for an artist. So I started getting into the production world, started getting into writing music for film and television, and all of those experiences really are what led me to wanting to open the Maitland Conservatory. I wanted to create this school where people could be exposed to the modern arts, but see how they could take traditional arts education and apply that to modern career opportunities. When we teach you, it's not just about teaching you how to play this song, play that song, mix this track, produce this track. It's also about building up that self-worth within the student as well too. And you'll be surprised when people start to find their purpose, what it does for their confidence level. So we are in our main side of the Maitland Conservatory. This is where a lot of the lessons happen. There are some that happen on the other side. We've got satellite locations too, but this is kind of the little hub right here. And the first thing you'll notice is, I believe that the environment that a student learns in is just as important as what they're learning. So each room will kind of have a little vibe to it. This is one of the production rooms where students learn everything from Pro Tools to Logic to Final Cut, a lot of the podcasting work. They get cool gear like this, which is a completely touchscreen surface to run Pro Tools and run all their software and everything. But we try to give them all the tools that they need to really be up to date. That's the biggest thing with this industry is like not just being able to know how to do the stuff, but knowing how to use what they're using now.
Right.
So across the hall is where the guitar teachers like to claim a lot. They use this room a lot, as you see some guitars on the walls and things like that. But not only do guitar lessons happen in here, bass guitar lessons happen in here, they also have access to the same thing, those types of softwares that they need. You'll see the guitar teachers a lot of times, sometimes create a track just for their students to play to, or have them record something in. Because we believe that it's not just important to know how to play your instrument, but let's say you want to be a studio musician or something like that. There's a whole etiquette and there's a whole art to that as well too. So we want our students to be well versed on everything. So Shanika, can you guess what happens in this room?
It's giving drums. I feel like it's been so long since I've had drumming. I did a little.
You seem like you know what you're doing. It is the way you're holding the sticks. You're doing like rudiments.
Because I'm like, I remember something in like middle school band.
Let me find out you're like a professional musician somewhere. Good job. Good job.
What has the response been like, not even just from students, but from the parents, guardians?
They love it. They love it the most because their students, if they're just taking a piano lesson, they can see where they can go with that piano lesson in the same building. So they're taking their lesson and they can see a room like this and see, oh, I could take my piano lessons and learn how to create my own music. Or I can make music for a movie or for a television show, things like that. We want to show people that you have access to this. It's not always so, far away from you. It's right here. And you can learn how to use it.
And what has it been like for you to be like, you created this and you're just seeing it come to fruition and you see all of this equipment and students enjoying it, and it's just like, how does that feel for you?
Oh man, it's definitely a sobering moment, a humbling moment, and it feels good because every now and then I get in a place where I'm like, okay, we're not doing enough, we've got more to do, we got to get this piece of gear, we got to add this, we got to add that, and then I have to stop sometimes when I see a student working in this room and say, you know what, this is worth it, this is good too. I mean, enjoy the progress, enjoy where we are.
when people say the Maitland Conservatory, what legacy do you want to be attached to that name?
That name, I want, when people think Maitland Conservatory, I want them to think that is the place where I brought my inner talents to fruition. That is the place where everything I dreamed that I wanted to do, I was able to actually do it and access it. And so that's what we want to think of. That's what we want to be thought of when people think of us.
Again, that was the Maitland Conservatory with Mario Maitland himself, and he will be on the show today at 11 to tell us all about his Dream X Expo happening at the Orion tomorrow night. We're so excited about it and can't wait to hear all the details. All right, lovely people, well, that does it for today's episode of Talking TVL. Thank you so much for joining me, and make sure you watch the show today at 11 to see an all-new episode of Tennessee Valley Living. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Have a great day.